Greetings and salutations! Hello, I'm Karen Russell, and welcome back to my stream of Pillars of Eternity. I forgot to turn on the light. Ta-da! Welcome in, Megkit, Wibble indeed. Andre J the Minecrafter, welcome in. Nice of you to join us. I've been thinking about this game a lot since the last time that I played it. Because it's one of them where it's like, don't get me wrong, it's not a terrible game. It really isn't. But at the same token, I feel like it could have been better. And the things that could have been better about it are actually really aggravating me in terms of... Let's actually speak towards the mic, or let's point the mic at the face rather than just like all the way over there. What was I saying? I was saying things. I'm pretty sure I've got ADHD sometimes, where it's like I've got a train of thought and then it goes and then it struggles to come back again. Oh yeah, that was it. Been thinking a lot about Pillars of Eternity since the last time I streamed, because the last time I streamed it came up to this focal point of sort of like, this is the potential for the beginning of the end. And once I cross this threshold, then I'm not going to be able to go back and take care of other things. And there are other things that I should probably take care of. Oh, welcome to my world of short-term memory loss. I mean, say what now? God, you killed it again. Train of thought is gone. Derailed. Right, so, yeah, there's a lot of things that I could do. There's a lot of side questing that I've not done. I've barely done any of the companion stuff. There's stuff that I've started, but because of the difficulty curve, which is one of the things that I dislike about this game, is it's not... So in Pathfinder Kingmaker, one of the things that it did, and I felt that it did fairly well, was the side questing that you got was very contextual to the chapter you were in. So when you started a new chapter, a number of NPCs would come up to you and be like, oh, we need your assistance with this, we need your assistance with this. As you were playing through it, a number of little notifications would come up here, there, and anywhere that it cared to say, oh, there's this thing that you need to do. And, you know, it was an unwritten rule that these things you needed to resolve as soon as possible and in that chapter. So, if there was anything outstanding in your quest journal, it was very much of your level range, because you'd only got it in that chapter. Now, there were some where it was a little bit more difficult than others, and so sometimes, yes, there was one or two occasions in Pathfinder Kingmaker where I went down a certain route and found it too difficult, so I had to back it out, go off somewhere else, level up again, and come back, and then excel at that area, or, you know, gather new equipment, new spells, etc., and just, you know, so like come back to do it, but within that chapter. With Pillars of Eternity, it's just this absolute clusterfuck of, here's all the quests that will ever, you will ever get in this area, and there's no set limitation on when you're going to actually be able to do these quests. The companions in this are sort of like, oh yeah, I'll join your party, but there's a thing that I need to do. Alright? Give me something to work off. And, you know, there's Alof and Eider. Their quests have been sort of like, we need to go to here and do a thing. And I think I've done them. I'm not entirely sure if I've completed them. but they were fairly clear and concise in where they needed to go and what you needed to do when you got there. There's been others, Durance and somebody else, I can't remember who, where it's like, spend more time with them, and it's like, that's all kind of fair and well, apart from I don't want to. I do not care enough about your backstory to spend more time with you. And there's others, I've forgotten what they're called. The Dwarf Lady. She's looking for an ancestor of her tribe, or the sole ancestor of her tribe. And it's like, got a vision of them being on a cliff overlooking a sea. No, they're not called Shorty. What are they called? No, we'll find out when we go back into the game. And it gives you absolutely no indication where this is, so you're expected to, explore, and I get that. I get where the appeal might be, for certain people. To just go to every single map and find exactly where this person is. But that's not me. I prefer a little bit of a sort, like, there's something in this area for you to do. One of the things that I enjoyed is the White March, because again, that was very nicely encapsulated. It was sort of like, you go up north, you do, once I eventually got into it, because this is another thing, and so like, I went there originally and just got my arse handed to me, and it was like, okay, not ready yet for this area, came back, went somewhere else, got a few more levels, went there again, and it's like, okay, I can now do this reasonably easily. But at the same token, even after all of that, egg indeed. Trying to remember. See, my memory is shocking. It's like there was something to do with eggs the last time that I streamed. I think it was mainly just for you guys trying to confuse me. But I can't remember. Nope. But yeah, the White March, once I actually managed to find the, hidden mystical level limit for that area, it was like, okay, now I can do this. And most of the area I accomplished at the level. Hey, Retro Ted, welcome in. Don't mind about the lurking, and appreciate you will always be listening. Always listening. Oh no, it's watching that the slug does in Monsters Inc., isn't it? Always watching. Anyway, so yeah, I've been umming and ahhing about it because it's like there's the White March Part 2 which I've not touched on. There's also a half dozen side quests that I could go to try and do. That was the other thing where it's like in Pathfinder Kingmaker, because you knew that it was a roughly your level range, when you came across an area that was challenging, you could make the receptionist. Is she the slug? I'm pretty sure she's slug-like. Think. And it's not the receptionist. The receptionist was Mike Wazowski's partner? Girlfriend? Always watching was the sort of team leader, boss lady kind of thing, giving out assignments. I think that was their position more. It's been a while since I've watched Monsters Inc. Doobly what's it, flibbity flop. So yeah, when in Pathfinder Kingmaker, if you went to an area and you found it difficult, you knew that it was roughly in your level range, and so it's like, okay, step back, rest up, rejig some spells. You know, it's like there was a troll area where it's like, okay, I need to be doing fire damage, acid damage, and I need to be resistant to, just them pouring on the damage. Reshuffled the party around to focus on that, went at it again, and yes, it worked because it was roughly my level range, and I could employ tactics to get me over that hurdle. In Pillars of Eternity, you don't know whether you need to change your tactics or improve what you're doing, paying attention to what you need to be doing, or whether it's just that far out of your level range that it is just pointless to try to continue. And so I'd leave and go elsewhere in Pillars of Eternity, and in Pathfinder Kingmaker I'd just change tactics, and that's the thing. It's like, it might just be a change of tactics. But there's not enough evidence, I feel, to justify a change of tactics when it's like go into an area and my arse is just handed to me, and it's like, oh, well, I guess this is too difficult of an area for me. There's no guide, there's no sort of like, yeah, you should be able to do this one kind of touch. So off the back of that, I've decided, a little bit reluctantly, because I would like to try to do this as complete as possible, but it's starting to wear on me a little bit. What I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to be going for the end game. I'm going to be, continuing on with the plot, finishing off the game. I'm not going to be doing the White March Part 2 on stream. I know about as much about it as you do, so consider that like your spoiler-free area. If you ever get round to picking up this game and playing it through, you'll still have that little bit of surprise as to what the White March Part 2 is all about. Because you won't have seen it on stream. And I won't know either, so I can't spoil it for you anyway. And that way, to a certain degree, we also get to move on to another game. Next up on the Tuesday-Thursday streams is going to be Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm gonna guess it's about a walk in snow. I mean, I'm guessing it's something to do with the White March area, and the White March area is very snowy. But at the same token, don't know where it's going to take. Yeah. And I'm not going to find out. So if you are dying to know, you'll have to play that part yourself. Right, one of the things that I have just realised is I've got 6 bottles of vape juice on my desk, and all of them are empty. So one on the floor that is full. Nope. Do I have one in my pockets? No, I do not. Right, I need to run, do a quick run. So I'm going to go to the BRB screen while the game loads up in the background, and while I go get some more vape juice. So yeah, sorry about this. I'm usually slightly more prepared than this, but you know me by now, I'm not really prepared, so BRB. Yeah, I knew that my mic was on. Vape juice, I don't think you're supposed to drink it. I'm not trying to drink it. I drink coffee. But yeah, I knew that the mic was still on. It was one of them where it's like, it'll be fine. You just hear me stomp around a little bit. I just realised I had not gone back to the just talking screen. Which is useful that my mic was still on, because otherwise you wouldn't have heard all that. I'm the pinnacle of professional today. Also kind of tired. Hey J-Station, welcome in. Dobry, what's it? You missed my whole rant explanation as to what I've been doing, but just to catch you up, I'm going to be gunning for the endgame of Pillars of Eternity. And we're going to be finishing it off as soon as possible. I don't know whether this is going to be the just in case there was an influx of profanities about effing Jeffin vape juice not on the effing Jeffin desk. I'm a very model of the scientist Solarian. See, what annoys me is I don't know the rest of it. I know the reference, and I think I've seen it in the game, but it's one of them where it's like, I'm the very model of a scientist Solarian. And then my mind goes blank, I can't remember the rest of the words. There we go. We're on blackjack flavoured. Dubry, what's it? Right, okay, game is loaded up. There's double music. Oh no, there isn't double music. I thought there was double music. Well, we're going to go to the game screen. We're going to go into performance mode. We're going to go over to the game, where there's no audio. There's clicking. There is audio. Did hear it. Alright, if somebody wants to confirm to me that everything's looking good on stream, that would be appreciated. I've studied species Tyronian, Asarian, Batarian. It depends on whether your Solarian is attuned to Graviton or...
I'll stay home for a season after my return.
Not my...
I'll rejoin the hunts.
And then you'll embark on another journey, like this one.
Not in this lifetime.
It depends on whether you're Solarian and... Yeah, that's Salarian, not Solarian. There's a difference. Good. Everything's looking good. So, what am I supposed to do? Pray to the gods of Tyr Evor. See, I can't... Oh, here we go. Right. The Delgam sisters explain that no mortal can survive the descent into Bereth Eram. The gods, however, can grant me safe passage. To ask their favour, I need to pray for them in Tyr Evern, where they said to commune with mortals. Okay. Oh, it's inside.
All right then.
Your character's biography writes itself as you adventure. The final journal of Jonas. My son, tomorrow I become the effigy. Tomorrow I shall become Shagan's and... I think I've read this. The misses of the hand occult. The many faces Brath. Tenya Dawn. Me. People always yammer on about no mortal can survive this or that. They mean and just not. Wow, I can English today. They just mean not yet. Oh, there's a crystal in the middle that I can talk to. Or interact with.
I've never seen anything like this. Almost beats the Southern Lights.
I'm guessing I'm supposed to pick a god. Nothing happens when you approach the Wodika shrine. A piercing ring fills your ears as you near the whale shrine. There's no other response. I'm guessing they're grouped. They're grouped. They're grouped. See, it's one of them where it's like this kind of conundrum. I'm guessing that you're supposed to Southern Lights. I see what you did there. It does actually make me wonder, is there a Northern Lights? Is there Aurora Borealis around the southern hemisphere? Just nobody talks about it because nobody really lives down there. Whereas the Aurora Borealis is visible in the populated north. Yes. Alright, you heard it here first, folks. My cat just says yes. I'm guessing that they're aware and have googled it previously. But yeah, it's like, oh, these are the gods. And it's like, pick one. And it's like, I don't care for any of them. Go with this one. In the glittering stars of a nearby constellation, you see a grim shape of a skull. Its jaws are wide open, as if frozen in a silent scream. Pray to Barath. As you kneel before the shrine and prepare to recite the ritual words. What? I need to remember these things? Oh god, I don't know. Pray to highly. The shrine sits before the bright constellation, its stars forming the oval shape of an egg. A pair of wings sprout from the egg, stretching out to either side. Before you, you step before the shrine and prepare to recite the ritual words. No idea. Aurora Australis. I had to Google because I couldn't remember it. But I knew the word wasn't Borealis. It can also be. It also cannot be localized in your kitchen at this time of day or this time of year. Fair enough. Unless J Station means that there's another other reference to that. So I'm guessing each one of these, pray to Gallowayne. I need to remember some kind of ritual. See, I don't get the localized to the kitchen reference. Is there a book on this? No. 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 Somebody get ready to Google because I have a feeling that the answer is going to be no. Okay. Let's do as they used to do in the good old-fashioned days of praying to unknown gods. Make it up and see what happens. All things can be reforged. Your words seem to fade once voiced, as if they were cast into the vast emptiness. The hall grows deathly still and silent, and then the ground starts to shake and tremble beneath your feet. Oh, I don't think that was the right words. I wasn't aware of the Southern Lights, but it makes sense. It's at the poles. I was just doing the fancy. I just thought they were doing the fancy thing. We have Northern Lights, but this crazy fancy world, it's a Southern Lights, not like this. Oh. Yeah. I mean, it does kind of make sense. That's kind of what I thought as well. Right, so if you get the ritual wrong, then they punish you with terrible, terrible bad guys that will try to murder you. And do a reasonably good job at it. Did I get an XP for that? Don't know if I did. I mean, it's not a good baddie if they're not trying to murder you. I mean, it's a god. They're not supposed to be trying to murder me. I'm supposed to be asking for their help. Oh. That's different. You kneel and pray to Brath, even while your eyes are closed. You see the road that seems to stretch on forever. The stars wheel overhead in a clockwise rotation of constellations, disappearing over the horizon to your left, only to rise on your right. You try to make out the details on the other side of the road, but your eyes can't seem to focus. One moment you think you see a meadow blanketed with the mist, and another sheer canyon walls. For just an instant, you see even waves lapping at the edges of the road. Were you to step into this shifting landscape, you feel certain that you would only end up back on the road. You know this is a vision, but the packed dirt feels firm beneath your feet, and the night air cool on your face. You are walking. Your feet seem to carry you forward of their own accord. Something looms ahead of you. As you get closer, you see two stone figures that look strangely familiar. You remember the door to Silaban Regal, and the two figures carved into the mountain next to it. One looks vaguely male and the other vaguely female. Only a thin layer of flesh covers their skeletal bodies, which twist to face a doorway between them. The doorway, however, is not what you saw in the ruins. It's a skull, gaping and jawless, and as you look on, the mouth, its open mouth seems to grow. The arms of the two stone sculptures are swept towards the mouth, inviting you in. Enter the skull's mouth. Whee! The road continues through the moor into another shifting landscape surrounded by stars. As you pass through it, you see an identical doorway in the distance. A dwarven man stands near it, unmoving. You turn and look behind you, only to see the skull gate that you passed facing you. An elven woman waits in the road, like the dwarf. She stands still. Approach the dwarven man. You continue down the road towards him. He looks up at you as you approach, but you can't feel if he is looking at you or through you. His face is smooth but flaccid, as if the flesh had detached from the muscles underneath. As you look on, his face begins to change. Wrinkles crack at the corner of his eyes. His mouth sinks, carving deep lines from his nose to the corner of his lips. His jowls sag, and the loose flesh hangs like dough. He raises his cupped hands. They're covered in blood. He lifts them to his face and smears himself, from his newly creased forehead to the wattles of his neck. As he massages the dark, sticky fluid into his skin, the flesh wrinkles disappear, the hanging folds recede, and his flesh tightens as if re-adhering to his skull. He lifts his head, and this time you know he's looking at you. His renewed face looks like a mask, artificially smooth and still. Behind it, his black eyes are two hungry pits yawning like the empty mouths of skulls. Come, make your sacrifice to end thick null. His body blocks the path. He extends a bloody hand towards you. Take his hand. You grab his hand, but his skin gives too easily under your grip. As you try to pull away, you hear the noise of dried canvas tearing. His skin splits, following a long seam that begins at his arm and stretches the length of his body. Blood gushes forth in such quantities that you can't imagine there was anything else in him. Sure enough, as the dwarf empties of blood, he collapses like a desiccated husk. The blood in the path gleams with 1,000 souls worth of essence. The essence evaporates, trailing shining filaments into the night sky. Only now that he is dead can you continue onwards. Well, this kind of got dark. Speaking of, I'm running a one-shot for my homebrew crew tomorrow and still have nothing ready, not even an idea. Gross. Are you taking suggestions, and what was the last thing that they did, or is this like a completely off-topic one shot that you were thinking? The blood pools around your feet and you look up and see the elven woman waiting farther down the road. Approach the elven woman, because why not? Let's kill two birds with one hand. You start towards her. There's something unnatural about the way she stands. She's too still. When you get closer, you see the legs taper into slender trunks, and in place of the feet are gnarled, twisting roots. She lifts her face to an invisible sun. Her long golden hair is the color of autumn. Her long golden hair is the color of autumn leaves. It's either gold or it's autumn leaves. You don't need both. Because autumn leaves to me are dead and brown, not golden. Or am I mistaken here? And as you look more closely, you realize that her head is actually covered with tendrils and vines sprouting brilliant yellow leaves. Each glimmers with the essence of an entire soul. Maybe they are golden leaves. They are. They could be golden. They could be golden autumn leaves. But why not just say her hair is the color of gold autumn leaves? Or her hair is golden. Full stop. Now, autumn leaves are golden, red and yellow. They're brown when they're mulched into the floor. I mean, I don't rightly care exactly. Autumn to me just looks brown and dreary. I don't really see, wonderful hues of red and yellow and gold. Each glimmers with the essence of an entire soul. She gives you a beatific smile. As you look on, the leaves slowly fall from her head and settle at her roots. They melt into the path beneath her, and almost immediately new leaves sprout in the place of the old. She reaches towards you, still smiling as roots spring from her fingertips. Her outstretched arm bars the path. Come, graft your soul to the golden grove. Take her hand. Why not? Her roots twine around your fingers, and as they do, they grow rigid and cold. Her outstretched arms petrify as if tough stone bark overtakes her flesh. She can only look on in horror. You break away from her brutal grasp. Her feet are rooted in place, but she twists and writhes as if trying to flee her own dying limb. The petrification reaches her shoulder and spreads down her body, freezing it in a painful arc. It creeps up her neck and she throws her face skywards like a drowning swimmer. The greyness covers her face, freezing her gasp in stone. Now that she is still and lifeless, you can continue past her. Only the golden leaves on her head remain untouched, and as you watch, they fall one by one to the path below. They shrivel as a shimmering essence fades from them. A voice echoes along the road, barely more than a whisper on the breeze. Return them to the wheel. You lift your gaze and see the skull gate ahead of you on the path. The candles of Tir Evon wink through the open mouth. Does that mean that I've got the god's blessing or no? Is that everything that I needed to do here? Have another save, see what happens. Nope, okay, I guess we're done there. Next deity? I don't know. Do I need to do all of the gods? End the lives of two figures from Braf's vision. I did do. They're dead, I think. Or is he saying go out and find these actual people? I am so confused. Oh. Alright, who's this one? All life ends in stillness. Probably the wrong words, but hey-o. You shut your eyes to pray and wait. As you wait in the darkness, the world around you changes. You feel sunlight bright and warm on your face. A light breeze carries music to your ears. As vivid as the sensations feel, you somehow know they are not real. You look around and find yourself standing in an open-air temple built on the mountain summit. It's filled with elves, Orlans, and assorted other kith. Ringing the entire scene is a fringe of trees, their verdant branches filled with birds of all different colours, shapes and sizes. Everyone is singularly absorbed in a particular pursuit. An Orlan sits with a canvas, a paintbrush in hand, and a jar of green, blue, and yellow pigments at his feet. An elf and an Ahriman standing to the side are locked in conversation, their expressions dancing with delight. Others still scribble stanzas of poetry or crude sketches on sheafs of paper, losing themselves in the delicate minutiae of lines and syllables. You feel the breeze again, and two elves basking in the sunlight shiver. A large group gathers in the middle of the temple. They sing of lush and chaotic harmony composed of several complementary melodies. Others drift towards the singers in one or twos as they are buffeted by a gust of wind or a phrase of a song. A ripple passes through the trees. You think it's a wind, but the chirping changes to screeching. Hundreds of birds take to the skies, all headed in one direction, away. Sangi, that's the name of the dwarven person. Sangi raises her bow. Something must be coming. The devotees glance at the trees, just barely distracted from their activities. But the wind picks up, scattering the pages of poetry and art and ripping the songs from their lips. They look skyward, and you follow their gaze. A dark shape blots out the sun. You can't tell what it is, but as it unfolds and expands, it seems to fill the sky. The wind roars over the summit. That explains the birds. Before you can flee, a shadow falls over the temple. It begins to stain as a stain in the corner and spreads, blotting out the flagstones. It reaches the nearest kith, a black-furred Orlan. The darkness swallows her, leaving only a puff of smoke in her place. The two elves you saw earlier, a man and a woman, flee. You get a brief image of them huddled in the shadow of the mountain. They seem to see you too, and they reach out, calling silently after you. The others, however, seem frozen. As the shadows advance, they likewise vanish one by one. The driving gale scatters their ashes and the charred remains of their creations. The grieving mother holds her head. Songs of joy turn to screams of agony. What purpose, what lesson could possibly lie behind such destruction? You look up again at the source of the shadow, but it is eclipsed. But the eclipsed sun forms a blinding corona around the thing. You can't make out any details. You can, however, feel heat. Restore my temple. You look down and find yourself standing next to a highly shrine in Tir Evon. Your pulse races and your skin is damp with sweat from your strange encounter. If there's anybody left in my chat, it would be appreciated if... Do I have to do this for all of the deities that are present here, or can I just pick one and do their thing? And this is the thing, it's like... Oh, there's the Temple of Haley. Or Highly. That seems an easy enough one to get to, potentially. If you could please, my guy. Yeah, just, 1 second, let's get out of this loading screen. So, Council of Stars. I've got visions from Baraf and Hailey. do I need to complete all of the deities? Or just one of them will do? I mean, I could find out by basically doing one of them, throwing myself, getting the blessing, and then throwing myself into the pit and seeing if that helps. If I die, I crawl back out and to a loading screen, and then switch, do the other deities. Can I have a? Oh, there we go. Guessing I go to old song. Okay, no, but you only need the favor of one of the gods in order to continue the main story, but feel free to do all 4 of those quests if you want. Old songs past, there we go. See, this is the thing. It's like, I appreciate, so like from a, so one of the things about me is, so like, I get, after so long of playing a game, and so like, I get to the point where it's like, I'm done with this, and I just want it finished and done, which for the most part is not the worst. The spear, broken in half, has ornate Glenfarthen's etching along 2 halves of a shaft. The wet wood shows dent stained green with moss, probably from impacts against the river rocks. No worries, J Station. Megcat's got it. And I appreciate, it's one of them where it's like, you're all not here just to do the Googling that I request, but it just helps for other people to do it while I'm trying to stream. But yeah, with games I get to a certain point and it's like, I just want this finished, I just want it done, depending on my enjoyment level of the game and potentially, You're not getting through me. How entertaining I'm finding it kind of depends on what point, when that point arrives, and how much I'm willing to sort of like push past it to finish off the game. In the case of Pathfinder Kingmaker, it was one of them where it's like, I really wanted to see that finished. But I wasn't willing to, I didn't want to rush it too much. But it did get to the point where it's like, okay, I can either go back and try to find some more experience to make the game easier, or I can just lower the difficulty a little bit and cheese the ending. Ended up cheesing the ending. There's still certain facets of that ending that I don't appreciate. I don't think I'm ever going to not be slightly annoyed at some parts of the ending.
Those wounds. They look like they came from a Stelgar's claws.
Whereas this one, it's like, I'm pretty much, I'm mentally done with this. I just want to get to the end of it, and it's like, now I'm just getting to the point. It's like, what's a minimum that I need to do to say that I've finished Pillars of Eternity? And if that's appeasing one god rather than 4, I'm just going to do the one god. Beneath the raging waterfall, the corpse of an elven and Glenfarthern hunter lies shattered against the rocks. Broken bones protrude from its skin, but you notice deep parallel cuts in the rotting flesh. The slashes traced almost every part of the body, as if it has been ravaged by a dozen blades. This man probably died before his fall from the cliffs above. You touch the dead elf's forehead, droplets of water glistening down its purple surface, and you feel a jolt of the hunter's lingering essence. The world around you fades away. You're walking among the underbrush without making a sound. Moonlight catches the sight of your arms, shining them pale, but you quickly dart again in the shadows of the giant tree of the north world. Your blood brother is not so deft as you expected. You look at him, frail, unaware. He doesn't deserve to share glory of this hunt, but it's been countless seasons since Stelgar like this one, twice the size of its lesser kin, has roamed the forest near Twin Elms. Arthwin fell for the trick. You almost feel pity for him, but you've convinced yourself that he'd only get in the way once the killing begins. He'll be safer by the river, expecting that we'll flank the Stelgar when it comes out to drink. But this kill will be only yours. The Stelgar is larger than you imagined. It stands without fear atop the waterfall's ridge, its silhouette cutting a monstrous hole against the mantle of the night sky. A beast of legend, a true hunter. Your hand tightens around the shaft of your father's spear. The weight feels balanced, just right as you prepare the throw. You put everything into it. The spear flies true and hits its mark. The Stelgar didn't even hear a sound. Its blood spills bright on the rocks, yet it stands unfazed. The beast pounces. Moonlight shines over its great fangs. Your hand draws your blades without a second thought as you lunge forward to meet this monster. It's fast. It's ripping your flesh apart. You stab at the darkness engulfing you, deep and again, but there is no slowing its embrace. Well, he died. How are we doing? We're on 12th level, but start of 12th. Nope, up another level. Elder Stelgar.
Were they built on solid?
It's not a wolf. Is it a fox? Fox, Arctic fox, there we go. Possibly gonna die? I mean, got knocked out at least. Over a ground hardened by dried blood and stomped leaves, the corpse of a giant Stelgar crawls with flies. Its flesh has been pierced and cut, as if stabbed by spears and slashed by swords. You touch the dead Stelgar's flank, a cloud of flies stirs into the air, and suddenly you feel the creature's remaining essence. The world around you fades away. The pack rests. A rock shelters the young, full bellies. You turn away and look beyond the trees. The moon breaks over the swaying canopy. A scent in the air stirs a tingling in your mouth. You slide into the shadows. The taste of a hunt filling your nostrils. Light shines on the stones by the water that falls. Prey down below, two-legged, hair like dry grass. It moves near the water that flows. Thin legs, slow, noisy, unaware. It holds a sharp stick. Two-legged hunter. Weak hunter. Prey. Closer prey. Bright moon. Prey. Into the dark. Pain. Pain in your side. A sharp stick pokes out of your flank. You roar and shake it. It snaps, breaking on the stones. Wet stones. Your blood. Leaves rustle. You look. Another two-legged. Another hunter. Thick legs. Silent steps. Striped face. Strong hunter. Enemy. You leap, aiming at its neck. It moves fast. Your claws find flesh, ripping it deep, ripping it down. Wet leaves. Two-legged blood. It howls. It fights back. Long claws cut through the air. They slash at your flesh. More pain. Sharp pain. You strike, it strikes. Hot blood on your claws. Hot cuts in your chest. And the world goes red. Your strength fails. You can't breathe. The two-legged hunter looks down. Wet ground. Our blood. Sharp stick above its head. Bright moon above its head. Hunter strong. The world goes dark. Alright, I'm guessing that's supposed to make sense to somebody. Maybe not to me. Oh, don't be like this game. So if you look at the map, there's a trail leading that way. I'm guessing it's supposed to be a river, but I just want to get to the bleeding temple.
Were they? My mind.
Is that your bow? %% chance to cast returning storm on a hit or critical hit. Returning storm foe AoE. Foe target 20 to 30 shock damage. If successful, stunned. Doesn't say that it's a ranged thing, or AoE thing, although it does seem to be stunning most of them. Fair enough. I think it's your bow that's doing the lightning.
Hey, you're not getting through me.
Yeah, that's another thing about this game. It's like those leveling epic weapons. I think that there'll be more than just 2 in the game.
Were they built on Saul?
And they're kind of nice, but at the same token, it's one of them where it's like, I have a feeling that this game is one of them where it's like, if you enjoyed it the first time and really wanted to do a comprehensive playthrough, you're probably better up looking up a guide and finding all the things that you can do in the game and going off and doing them. Still won't let me go there. Because I've not found a path up there. Let's head over here. And you know, potentially doing a comprehensive run where you sort of like know what quest that you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to be going. And figuring it out that way. Is this actually a cave or is this a mountain path? Who knows? It's just a cave.
Where they be?
You're not getting through me.
After each of them. Spot on.
Leave it to me.
Where they build and salvo.
But yeah, this is the thing, it's like, you know, or this is one of the things where it's like, I have a feeling that I'm supposed to be in this area. I've not had to pull out any fancy tactics or figure out, you know, sort of like, which is the best spells to use, which is the spells that they're totally immune to. It's gonna mean that I can actually defeat these people. I'm just able to sort of like wander through and slaughter them all. So if I come across a room, you know, further in this tunnel or whatever. Not that I think there's any rooms further in this tunnel. The fight is a little bit more difficult, then I'd have an idea and say, okay, I think I'm supposed to be here. But it's not simple and it's not enjoyable. You know, at the current going rate, it's one of them where it's like, I just want to get to this Temple of Highly and figure out what I need to do there. Hopefully I'm going to be able to figure it out fairly easily, but I'm very quickly running out of map to be able to go north. Oh, maybe this bridge? But if I can't figure out a way north, I'm going to have to ask, or have to go look up. Oh, wait, there's... Oh, it's an outdoor beetle over there. I'm gonna have to go look up how to get to this temple.
Where they build and salvo. Spot on.
There you are. And I just feel, you know, having to look up directions of how to get somewhere for somewhere that you can see on your map. Because the game isn't being very clear, is just a sign of poor guidance from the game, you know.
You're not getting through me.
They're really putting the eternity into this game. Potentially. The thing is, it's not like I disagree with sort of like games that don't hold your hand in certain terms. You know, one of the things that I did like about, you know, the game Morrowind, where it was sort of like, there was no sort of like mini-map or GPS system where it's like gave you a direction to go in or anything like that. The clouds above the cliff are of the north wheel. And reflect the. Let's try reading that one again. The clouds above the cliffs of the north wheel reflect on the iridescent surface of this pillar of Vadra. You know, in Morrowind, you know, you used to get your directions as to so like you know, to travel from the starting area. I can't remember the name of town. So it's something like East Haven. It's not East Haven, but it's something like that. You're at the edge of this swamp, and it's like, oh, to go to Balmora, you need to take the path up through the rocky cliffs to the north. You'll come to a junction, take the left, past the town of Belgrade? Something like that. Follow that path round until you get to another junction. Take the left into the mountain ridge. West Haven? Very funny, Jay. I kind of expected you to, of all people, to remember where the name of the starting town in Morrowind is called. If anybody's actually going to remember. So you go up there, you go into it, you take a right, you take a left, you go past Fort Bloodmoth, over the river, whatever it's called, and the town of Balmora is on your right. And that's it. The guy explains that. And he puts it into your quest journal. And then you go out and you follow these directions. If you get lost, you can sort of look at your map and be like, alright, I need to get back to civilization. It's roughly in this direction. And you could just walk. Say Deneen. That's it. Nothing like East Haven. Although, kind of, but no. You know, he gave you clear instructions on where you needed to go. This, it's all like, oh, you need to go to this place, and it's all like, here, it's on your map, and it's like, how do I get there? And it's like, I don't know. Doesn't say go north through Northweald, am I in the place? I don't know. A winding stairs hugs the cliffside, providing an impressive view as you work your way higher and higher. Not too far along the path, however, you find your progress interrupted. A large boulder appears to have fallen onto the road from somewhere up above, and it now sits squarely in your way. Examine the area. The boulder is nearly flush with the cliff face, preventing you from passing it on that side. Along the edge of a cliff, however, there is a narrow space just wide enough to follow across on the other side. The boulder's landing has crushed the steps beneath it, however. Use a hammer and chisel to clear the way. Chiseling away the boulder proves slow and weary endeavour, especially when several sections of the boulder prove too hard to carve, forcing you to aim elsewhere. After a long while, your efforts pay off and the section of the boulder splits away. You hear the echoing clatter of the rocks tumbling down the side of the cliff. The sound seems to stir something overhead. A shadow crosses the path, quick as lightning, and vanishes before you can catch a glimpse of what it has cast it. But you do see the rapidly growing silhouettes of several more rocks flung down from above. Scrambling to action, the party ducks under the small rocky protrusion along the cliff face, but Sagni stumbles and is left just short of shelter. A sudden hailstorm of fist-sized rocks and scattered debris rains down upon them. Battered and bruised, Sagni leaps for the final distance to safety. After a short while, the thundering rumble of the falling stones fades away. Your ordeal past, you continue your climb, and the rest of the journey proceeds without incident. At last you find yourself at the base of a final twisting set of steps, above which you can see the towering pillars of Hyli's nest. But yeah, in games where it's like it seems to have been designed fairly well for that kind of thing, you know,
Hey,
you don't really need to. You just need to read about it. You don't have to guess at it. Oh, you've got a thing. Sign somebody. I don't know. Don't care. You. No, you're doing a thing. You're doing a thing. Deal with it. Can't remember what I'm here for. Highly revealed, the mountaintop temple is beset by a terrible menace. This menace is going to murder me because I feel that it's a dragon. The edge of the stones are brittle and blackened.
Times like this, I'm glad I can't feel nothing.
As you reach the summit of the mountain, a gust of wind stirs the air. You hear a noise like the snapping of sails, and the sky is briefly blotted out. A dragon lands before you, shaking the ground beneath your feet. It draws itself up to its full height and spreads its wings, barring your passage. Its neck, its back, and the ridge of its spines are covered with a magnificent plumage. It hisses at you, and while the sound still is like any language it hisses at you, and while the sound is unlike any language you've ever heard, the beast's meaning is utterly clear.
Vermin invading my nest, threatening my hatchling. You shall feed my young.
A small worm crouches in the corner of the temple behind the dragon. Be careful, Watcher. Her mind is on edge, not with hunger, but with fear. There is a little more dangerous than a mother defending her offspring. You have young here?
I will protect my last hatchling to the death, and that death will be yours, rodent.
Ailey is the goddess of the motherhood, actually.
And of the sky and all winged creatures. Even my kind know of her.
Is that why you came here?
I came to care for my remaining hatchling. My kind requires territory. Few places are safe for our young. This is a lesson that cost me the rest of my brood.
The dragon runs a forked tongue over her teeth the size of short swords. A chunk of flesh is lodged between two of its cuspids. Then you should stay. Raising your offspring here would honor highly. I don't know. That seems like a sort. You've been sent to deal with a threat, and it's like, all right, yeah, it's cool. Just stay here. Don't mind me. You and your offspring will kill many if you stay. You have to leave. Heat from the beast's roar sears your face. It lashes with the fury of scales and feathers. Alright, it's time to slay a dragon, because we're so prepared for this. You're using a thing. You just want a barbaric bellow. You will smack that. Shoot at it and stab at it.
Uh-huh.
By the way, the Sky Dragon's Sarlacc statistics are instantly there. Well, we had it somewhat prone. It's a good sign, right?
Right here.
Take care of the smaller things while the bigger dragon is gone. That's not a good sign. I think we're gonna lose a devil. It can get a good shot. Great stuff. Disintegrate that thing. Let's bring our own dragon to it. Yeah, that's a drake. Close enough.
Can't get a good shot with this.
This is getting nowhere.
How are we doing? How are we doing?
This is getting nowhere.
If you're crying about it, shoot something. Okay, you shoot that thing.
Can't get a good shot. This one repels my touch. Not quite.
Oh, that was unfair. Whatever you just did.
Let's try that again.
I think we need to consider moving around.
I wish you no harm. Word de il dansayo.
Yeah, man. Shit.
Leave it to me.
Yes.
It's near death, but so is everybody else. Woo!
You're not getting through me.
Come on, Ida, do a thing. I want you to murder that thing. Come on.
Hey.
Not quite.
We have a slight problem. What's this? You know.
Certainly.
Row 10.
Come on, finish the dragon. If you two could murder the dragon, would be much appreciated.
Certainly.
I think I need to take care of the tiny little bleeding rain blights.
Certainly.
Oh no, it totally succumbed. It totally succumbed. Kill it. I think I need to pay attention to the ads. And that's everybody KO'd. Whee! Alright, let's load it up again. Once more with feeling. I think there's potential that I need to split up a little bit more. Actually, one of the things that I potentially possibly do with doing is resting. I'm getting a damage reduction. Nope. Oh, rest in the lair of a sky dragon. Yay, we did a thing! Not entirely sure what it did. See, this is one of the things where it's like, it did a thing! Don't know what it was. Because that's not gonna... It might have been the superb. It's now the accuracy plus 12 and damage is increased.
And now the fun begins.
Let's try with diplomacy. You have young here.
Protect my land of the sky and all winged creatures. Even I came to care for my remaining hatchling. My kind
Then you should stay.
requires
Raising your offspring here
territory.
would
Places
honor
are
highly.
safer. So be it. Go then, and with my thanks.
The Grieving Mother's eyes are warm, approving. Truly, you are full of surprises and rare insights. I mean, I'm gonna make a permanent save here just in case. Bollocks. I think I quick saved it. Right. Let's go back to Elm's Reach. Let's see if that appeases the gods. Honestly, it's one of them where it's like, I would have liked to have killed the dragon, but at the same token, it's one of them where it's like, maybe just appeasing the god is good enough. And I don't have to die repeatedly trying to kill the dragon. Thing is, I'm also trying to recall back to how many of the fights in this game have actually been necessary. Pray to Harvey. You kneel. While you pray, you feel the space around you, around your body shift and melt, and you find yourself in a vision of the mountain-top temple. You see neither worshippers nor the dragon, but a tree. His limbs wrap around the perimeter of the temple, tampering into twigs and branches of all sizes and angles. It seems too large and too numerous to be held up by the meagre trunk, but it holds steady in the breeze. A single sparrow lands on the nearest branch. It watches you. I seek audience with Hiley. The sparrow cocks its head in a peculiar bird-like fashion. Whistle to the bird. You whistle the first tune that pops into your head. The sparrow blinks its beady eyes and hops closer to you along the branch. It bobs its tiny head and opens its beak, and the rich trilling melody that spills forth is the song of a chorus of birds. A massive flock descends with a thundering of wings and whooping, screeching, chirping calls. They fill the boughs of the tree by the thousand, birds of every shape, size, and colour nestling next to one another. A breeze ripples through the air, the limbs sway, creaking with a strange, gentle rhythm. A few hundred of the birds flit from their branches, forming a brilliant veritaged flock in front of a tree. As they meet and swoop in unison, you catch a glimpse of someone looking back at you, cloaked by the flurry of feathers. Watcher, I believe we stand in the legendary court of birds. She closes her eyes and raises her face to the sky. I feel a presence, warmth and hope.
You journeyed to my temple and found the dragon. Yet instead of driving it off, you allowed it to stay. The songs of my faithful will never again fill the nest, and the beast and her young will slaughter many to feed their hunger.
Dragons, like your birds, are creatures of the skies. Every life bears a cost.
Yes, and each should create wonders of commensurate value. What does a dragon create?
More dragons, big dragons create baby dragons. No, beauty, great and powerful and colourful. They are a marvel to behold.
Their might inspires countless songs and tales, and the span of their wings fills canvases across Aora. And you are one whose soul is filled with the same passionate energy. Indeed, you are the right person to end this tragedy.
I came here for your aid. I need to get to Sun in Shadow. The birds retreat to the tree and nestle amongst their peers. The breeze ripples through the branches again, carrying the goddess's voice.
Yes, but not only to stop Theos, to undo the tragedy he has wrought.
The gods are always so difficult to appease, though. They are. They're whimsical, and I don't appreciate them. The grieving mother rocks on her feet. There is a way, Watcher. There is hope yet. The birds all over the tree begin to chirp and sing, and in the rise and fall of their voices, Hailey speaks. Theos acts, but is moved by another. The exiled queen whispers in his ear, urges him to rob the living and the unborn of their souls for her benefit, and he has obeyed. The hawk shifts on its perch. She will consume them, grow powerful while 1,000 empty children are born. But there is still time to reverse this tragedy. How could I return things to the way they were? The bird suddenly falls silent, watching you. The voice in the wind returns. Guide the trapped souls back to the bodies they were stolen from. Hollow-born children whose eyes have never seen the sun. The grieving mother claps her hands once, setting off the music of chimes. After long years, let their wounds be healed, their tears dried. You could restore them, give their families hymns of joy after years of lament. The breeze tickles your ear. Peace and restoration give purpose to suffering. There is no meaning, no redemption in pain that does not lead to fulfillment. Symmetry demands that rejoicing follow suffering, such as this. I'm not sure it's possible to truly undo the harm Theos has created. Sagni flinches. Surely those wounds can heal, or do you not think the long absences could be overcome? You hear the cry of Swift, soft and plaintive. Perhaps the years cannot be forgotten, and for some perhaps it is already too late. But if you could restore even one soul, kindle one spark of life, raise one voice in joy, it would be worth it. Thank you, Hailey. I will continue to the sun and shadow.
When you reach the burial isle, you will find souls there that I have granted reprieve for their sins. I give these to you, for only they can bear you to safety on your journey down. And when you face Theos and the rotting fruits of his endeavors, remember the conversation we have had. In that moment, you will have power rivaling a god's. And after it, you will live in the world that you have chosen. Choose restoration, Watcher. Return the souls to the bodies they were stolen from. Swear to me that you will do this, and I shall give you power to make even Woodica quake. I can be merciful and terrible, Watcher.
Great wings, dark against the sun, unfold behind the tree, casting a blinding shadow across the temple for the briefest of moments. The grieving mother's eyes are fever bright. Watcher, this is the hope I have held to. The children of the Direwood may be restored, their families healed. Let us bring Hailey's restoration to this country. I swear to return the souls of the hollow-born children to the Direwood. And I shall remember. The dark wings snap shut and the tiny sparrow flits to your shoulder. It tilts its head back and opens its beak, and the song that spills forth is like nothing you've ever heard. Melodies at once mournful and beautiful entrance you. The world becomes a place of pure colour and sound. Each perfect moment follows the next like the lines of a poem or the bars of a song. Kashira was granted Hailey's boon. You awaken as if from a dream, standing in Tir Evron. Hailey's song and the power of her blessings follows you still. See, to me, that would have been the ideal moment to have a really unique. Moving piece of music just beside it, ba-bum, or something. Who knows exactly what, but something there. For it just to be this same low drone of ambiance is, well, meh. So what did that grant me? Do 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 do. Oh, 1 lore and 1 perception. Woo! What a giant bonus. Perception's not even.
Hey.
It is what it is. But it's one of them where it's like, is that really the blessing of the god? A +1 in 2 things? Only one of them's an ability, one of them is a skill. Ooh. And yes, she'll take it off me if I complain too much. Blah, 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 whatever. Huh.
Stop right there.
Alright. I stopped, now what?
You're in the wrong city, Inquisitor.
Phantom Soldier raises his short sword to his chest.
Did you think you wouldn't be recognized here in your old home? I've seen your trials with my own eyes.
I've seen you light pyres with good people tied to them, people I'd known many a year. He seizes you by the throat and your airways tighten. Whether real or imagined, you cannot tell. They deserve your confession. He raises the point of his sword, holding it a hair's breadth from your eye.
Suros, what are you doing?
I have no idea who the pair of you are. Startled, the soldier releases you immediately and turns to face the speaker. A woman in the plain wool tunic, fully a head shorter than he, but somehow seeming to tower over him. You have seen this woman's face before, but from afar. Bloodied and burned, she lay stretched across the iron wheel. At that moment, it is only marked with concern.
An assassin sent by the Inquisition, my lady, daring to approach our camp.
If she is so poor an assassin as to approached by an armed guard in daylight, I should have little to fear. I would hear what this woman has to say. She stares him down until he can no longer face her. He turns away, sour-faced, and pretends to be suddenly distracted by something far off.
Surely this is some trick of my mind. I did not expect to see you again.
Oh, yeah. Right, okay, now I think... This is a person that our soul has met at some point in the past, I think. Grand Inquisitor Theos, ex Arcanon, dispatched me here to spy on you. Yovara doesn't blink. Are things as desperate as that over there? I'd have never have known. I hope your next assignment is more stimulating. Listening to my lectures is dull work for a spy. I hoped there might be another reason, but you are here, and that's good enough on its own. Whatever your reasons, I've missed you over all these years. Having you here now, at a time when I'm surrounded by strangers, is a wonderful gift. I would
I
like...
would like for you to stay here in our camp as my guest.
Alright, you do the talking then.
My Lady Ivara, I beg of you. This is an Inquisitor. This is a desperate attempt on your life. The only way it can succeed is if you allow it to.
No longer able to remain quiet, the soldier approaches Ivara and puts his hand on her shoulder, turning her aside. His voice is hushed, but by no means private.
This is a missionary, same as I was, taught the wrong things as I was. If I can't have faith in one woman's ability to reason once she knows the truth, what hope do we have?
She brushes his hand away with the calm grace of the resolute.
My lady, she admits being a spy.
That should make her less of a threat, wouldn't you agree? I have nothing to hide. All I see here is an opportunity to persuade someone who could help us. We have many former missionaries here. They are our most loyal, our most helpful. Many have died for us. These are not people we should be turning away. And if the Inquisition wants my life, they can have it. But they know as well as I do that my cause will not die with me. Come. We have much to talk about.
Ivara beckons you somewhere behind her.
Of course.
See, I suppose that's something that gives a little bit of philosophical debate. You know, when it comes to reincarnation. You know, should the soul, or should a person be punished or judged for what their soul has done in the past? I think to a certain degree, for the most people, it doesn't really matter too much unless they're awakened, like I have done for a couple of people. Or I've met a couple of awakened people, and, you know, they all seem to be a bit more disjointed, where there's a stubborn soul in their history that's done some terrible things, and now the person is suffering because of it. I don't know, it almost feels like a lot of this game, it's like judging people for what their souls have done rather than what they have done. Find the court of the penance.
Troubled spirits surround us.
Yep, here's one right away.
I remember when I was a girl, and the missionaries came and told us about the gods. They said we could see them in the stars.
Ivara looks off in the distance at something only she can see.
I remember when I heard that. I snuck out at night and climbed the watchtower in the old fort because I wanted to see them better. That fort burned down a few years ago when we cast the missionaries out. It was the missionaries who set fire to it. They didn't want us to be able to use it. Shame. There was history in that fort.
They'll do a lot worse if they ever return. Those missionaries are all inquisitors now. Strange to think that the same people underneath. But I suppose you would know. She looks at you. You called this place home once. Do you worry about it? I worry about you. You should be more worried about yourself. Half the guard still plots your death that night. I
miscalculated many things since this began. I'm relieved you weren't one of them. It's a good thing we didn't hang you.
It's a little bit annoying when it's all like, you know, from a streamer's perspective, if I'm playing this game on my own and I'm having to read things just in my mind as it's like continue, it's a nice relief that you don't have to read it when it starts doing a voiceover. But when you're streaming it and you're having to read out the things and you click continue, and before the audio file's really kicked in, you start reading it, and then it's reading at you, and it's like, why? Why couldn't you have just voiced those 2 lines between them?
I always knew this path would have consequences, but I never wanted to see Kratom suffer on my behalf. I don't think I can stay here any longer. I am told the Inquisition is gathering an army, that they have sent messengers to bargain with rulers from distant lands. Kratom is not built to withstand a siege. If war is coming, I should be doing what Theos is doing. I will need allies. Allies in a stronghold that can resist an invading army.
You feel the words formed long ago rising in your throat like a toxic black bile. Have you thought about Ozinus?
Osionis. They have held off many would-be invaders, and their king has no love of the Inquisition's faith. I wonder, would he listen?
I'm looking for a hole that I'm supposed to be jumping into. Excuse me, have you seen a hole that I'm supposed to be jumping into? Anybody? Anybody at all? You can throw me in yourself if you wish.
Leave it to me.
Do 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 do.
Settle!
Leave it to me.
My mind feels sharp as steel.
Giant hole to throw myself into? Anybody? That wasn't creepy at all.
I can't move!
You're not getting through me. Leave it to me.
Yeah, I think one of the problems that I've got in I think I had this issue in Pathfinder Kingmaker a little bit, where occasionally you'll come across fights that are barely significant. You know,
I can't move!
this is one that feels like it, where it's like, I'm not going to die to this rabble. I'm not going to die. I'm not gonna, I'm just being inconvenienced by this fight, and I just want to get to the end.
All right then.
You know, all these spirit residue. I don't even know what these spirit residue are supposed to be for. You know, scrolls. Any spirit residue in here? But it's not like these spirit residue are going into any of these recipes. There might be one. I'm just trying to quickly go through. Oh. Yeah, spirit residue. I have managed to pick up 148 of them and not used a single one as far as I'm aware. I might have used a couple in upgrading weapons or something like that. But they're just crafting stuff. The XP is probably not going to be making that big of a difference at this stage.
Another turn, Inquisitor.
Theo signals at some unseen attendant standing beside the crank.
I ask again, Jovara Ixensios, do you confess to these heresies of which you stand accused?
He waits, but Ilvara only stares straight ahead, her face stony, the creak of her restraints the only sound.
Do you confess to apostasy?
I confess to renouncing a mistake.
She opens her mouth to speak, strands of thin spittle spanning from one lip to the other like a spider's threads.
Do you confess to conspiracy against the one true faith?
I confess to opening minds.
Do you confess to false prophecy?
I confess to following a false prophet.
Indeed. And where might we find this heretic?
Theos pauses, his eyes narrow.
He wears the robes of a Grand Inquisitor.
You have no followers here, heretic. Your lies hold no sway in the court of the penitents.
Only my truth, then.
Another turn.
No! Wait! I'm ready.
You are ready to give a confession?
Theos signals the Inquisitor to hold.
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Yavara grasps for breath, gathering up the little strength she has left to speak. Theos shakes his head and points at the Inquisitor, and the sound and the scraping grind of rusted gears echoes in your mind as the apparitions fade away. That's one way to die, I suppose.
There's a first time for everything, and a last.
Every wrinkle and boil carved into Wodica's statue looks painfully familiar.
Hey.
I feel that we're missing somebody.
The way.
Never did get rid of that curse on your blade, did we? Oops.
Okay.
Hey.
See, I don't know whether this is going to be sort of like a final epic long dungeon, or whether this is going to be like Torment Ties of Numenera, where it's like you get to the end and then it's just a series of sort of like 3 or 4 conversations that you have where you make your final points, and then that's it. It's game over. So who knows? Into the pit we go. A great pit lies in the shadow of the statue of Wodica. No light from the surface reaches the bottom, but even so you catch flickers of a ghostly glow in the depths. A wind from the pit buffets you, but it isn't cold. It isn't cold, but carries but it raises goose flesh along your arms. The wind carries a whisper, slow and sibilant. As you look into the pits, souls gather around you. They encase you in a cloud of essence that swirls around your body while you consider your next move. I like the way that it's my body and not my group's body that these souls seem to be attaching themselves to. So this may be like jumping in alone. Jump into the pit. You jump, trusting in the promises of the gods and the power of the souls to bear you safely down. The sudden drop takes your breath away, but the souls catch you, encasing you in a shining, thrumming aura. But while they slow your descent, you can still feel that you are falling faster than you should. The essence flowing around you is strong but chaotic. You find yourself drifting towards a wall. Mind the wall, Kashra. That'd leave all kinds of marks. Who said that? Reach for a companion. Sure, why not? But let's throw them under the bus. You reach out and feel a hand, strong and sure, wrap around your forearm. It tugs you away from the wall just as you feel your toes graze something. You manage to spread your arms out into an X, steadying your position and the rate of your descent. You reach the court of penitence, millennia-old stone safely under your feet. While your companions splatter into the ground around you because the souls weren't buffering them.
After what seems like an eternity, your rapid descent comes to an abrupt end. You remain still for a moment while your heart settles and your eyes adjust, breathing in stale, forgotten air. Before you, a narrow and eroded walkway becomes faintly visible in the dim light, cutting a winding path through a cavern so expansive it seems a world unto itself. In the distance, you can make out the cold gleam of living Adra veins that spike and fork in and out of view from the murky depths beneath. Their glow a faint and fleeting guide along the ancient trail. You look above at the opening you jumped through, now barely a speck of light like some distant star alone in the cosmos and forever out of reach. Your only way lies ahead.
You can't access your stronghold here.
I think I dislocated my... That's better.
Everyone all right? No shattered knees? Good. Just me, then.
This place is cursed.
Looks like all my parts are still moving.
Did anyone bring a ladder?
Hey.
Maybe I should have rested before coming down here.
They shall see nothing while I see much.
Ain't that special?
Nope, it's a trap. Just like every other trap that we've come across. Millennia's worth of dust fills the cracks and crevices of a skeletal relief. A million worth of dust fills the cracks and crevices of this skeletal relief.
Dead on!
You gotta see. Good thing I'm freshly greased.
Pillar tugs at your essence. A pulse arm from the world itself moves through it.
You're not getting through me. Laying low. Leave it to me!
Do. Oh yeah, Alof. It's one of them where I've just realised that Alof has a staff which occasionally, you know, converts people to your side. Quite randomly, and it's like, oh yeah, he's not here, is he? Well, that's a shitty place for a trap.
That's special.
Leave it to me!
Some more, another trap over there.
That'll do.
Good thing I sold most of my jewelry.
That'll do.
Do.
Leave it to me!
It's a terrible layout.
Varathis! Varathis! Varathis!
Sagnus stunned and at the front.
All right.
There we go. Can move again. Pillar tugs at your essence. The pillar tugs at your essence. A pillar from the world itself moves through it.
Slow and silent.
Got it done.
Another trap there. Maybe another one. No?
Leave it to me!
Get on!
Leave it to me!
Nobody on my side is stunned at least.
Spot on!
Oh god damn it, they've got healers. Come on, finish them before one of them gets a bright idea of healing. Thank you.
Spot on!
No murder.
See, they're not even doing that much damage, I don't feel, at this stage. Yeah, I think they're all dead. Oops. All this wonderful loot that we're never gonna get to use.
If you say so. That'll do.
Exceptional mail armor. Ooh, shiny. Alright, so predict that this path will also lead up there, but from a different angle. So let's go take care of that.
Good thing I sold most of my jewelry.
Wait until everybody's in proper positions. Then attack. So that the melee fighters can actually get into melee. Ah, the questing goes okay. I've got the blessings of a god retro-ted, so that's a bit of a boon. I've jumped down the pit of no return, so I'm guessing I'm heading towards the end game. But yeah, were you here for the sort of like general brief that I gave at the start of this, where it's like I'm just now pushing through to the end game. I'm not, yeah, there's a lot of side quests that I've left undone. I've not done the White March Part 2 at all, but I'm just pretty much done with this game. Ah, you were listening in the van. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. The ancient address still bears the impression of 1,000 souls broken upon it. Your soul burns with remembered suffering. A unique morning star two-handed. That'd be fancy if anybody used a morning star. The only person who uses two-handed weapons is, well, currently cursed to wield it until we remove the curse, and I don't think we're in a position to remove the curse anymore. The Soul Adra prisons, the Soul Adra prison, and the Soul Guardian's pillar. And a door. Hello? Anybody home? Avon calling. A column of Adra rises above you, stoic and silent. Its rigid layers a measuring stick from the passing of ages. It feels as if the thick block of ice, and you perceive buried deep in its core a dim, flickering flame, all but extinguished, yet preserved against the ravages of the elements. As you approach, the flame seems to steady and draw strength, and the layers separating it from you melt away, and you are bathed in the glow of a bright beacon in the gloom. The glow seems to fade as though you had adjusted to the intensity, and where it was, Yavara seeps into existence. An idolic shade hovering on above the moist prison floor. Though ageless, she appears somewhat different to you now. A slight stoop in her carriage, perhaps, or a trace of sunkenness in her eyes. There's a broad scar across her face, fibrous and wormy, where flames once lapped, unhealed even in death.
So my love returns to me at long last.
That's... what is the objective in this one-way tunnel? To save the world and kill Theos, I believe. Kill Theos is maybe kind of like the whole point of the game, and I think I'm going to save the world when I get there. Or I've already chosen to save the world. I kind of promised to God that I would. Whether they hold me to that, who knows.
You are so different now from who you were then, yet much remains the same. Old troubles with a new face. What is it that has brought you here?
It would seem that I have unfinished business here.
I'd hoped after our last discussion you would find what you sought. Has it eluded you all this time? I can only guess your presence here has something to do with Theos. The energy of this place changes when he is near. I don't know what he has done, but I do know of the souls that pass through here now. They do not come by choice.
Theos diverted them from the cycle. He seeks to empower Wodeker and to blame Animancy for the damage he caused.
After all this time, he would still stand against the tide.
You knew me when Theos did. Is there something I need to know about that time?
I will tell you what I remember.
There's something about that lifetime my soul can't let go of. I need to know what it is, and I'm running out of time. I see moments of from that life, of you, of the Inquisition, of Theos.
I can see his influence, still hanging like a weight about your neck. So it always was. He had inspired something in you. We spoke of him the last time you were here also. It was just after the trial. You were agitated. I think because you started to consider that what I was teaching may have been true.
And what was that? Iovara's mouth tightens and her brow furrows, a look of pity. Her eyes shift back and forth between the two of you, as if looking for something that would help her decide whether to speak.
That the gods aren't real.
She's not serious.
That doesn't seem possible.
What I taught was that the gods whose faith we had been spreading were not gods at all, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
How did you discover this?
The Nguithan missionaries all knew it, but they never told the rest of us. They meant it to be a secret that died with them. And in the end, they allowed their bloodlines to fade from memory. I had been assigned to join a few of them at a temple. I found the door to their chambers closed, but the room was stone and the door thin. Their voices carried. I heard enough. I investigated the things they spoke of, and everything was there, just as they said it be.
Later on, after I left the Order, a few Nguithans found my words persuasive and joined my cause. They revealed what I did not already know. Who created these gods, and what for?
They were conceived by Enguith, a society of high minds and broad concerns. Theos' people. In their time, every people worshipped its own gods. Sometimes they warred over it. After a few wars of their own, the Nguithans sought an end to it. They devoted all their energy to finding the true creators. Generation after generation, they prodded and worked the stitching of the world and unlocked its secrets. One day, they found an answer. Except the answer was no answer at all. There were no gods to be found. Or if there ever were, they were gone.
So, that promise that I made on the surface to a god wasn't actually a god, but I was able to get down here, right? I am so confused right now.
It shook them, this finding. they could discover this on their own? How long until others would? How long before war and chaos reigned over a world without consequence? But they had mastered many things in their pursuit of these answers. And with their mastery, they crafted their own gods to fill the void, and sent missionaries to the corners of the world to spread their faith.
This is why you started your own faith?
I never thought of it as faith, but I think you are right to call it that. Let the world see. Let them decide what to do. I became a missionary because the gods brought me hope that I wanted to bring to others. For a time, the truth sent me to a dark place. Then the day came when I realized nothing had changed, that I still had a purpose, and the purpose was the same and it was worth living for. I began questioning the other missionaries in public, exposing their parlor tricks. In time, their following became mine.
Is it true what you told?
You asked me this once before. Nothing I can say would be any proof, and it may be certainty your soul craves. Resolution. But if you are bound for the same place Theos directs these souls, you will see for yourself, as you once did. Everyone faces this truth at one time or another. Few confront it. Few have the stomach to ask what if. And in avoiding the question, they deny themselves an identity of their own.
Yovara scans her audience in silence, her eyes thoughtful, lingering on each member of your company in turn, finding interest in things unseen.
What if all the tragedy, all the persecution, came in defense of an imposter?
But that's not... That can't be right. Aethys, he's done miracles for people.
The power of the gods is undeniable. The truth of the story they weave is not. What if our burdens come to us not because they are meant to be, but because they happen to be?
We fulfill them anyway, because they still matter to the people around us, even if we know better.
What if the cycle of birth and death is nothing more than a tool of endless preoccupation?
The Grieving Mother returns Iovara's gaze, nodding her head almost imperceptibly. For a moment, all is silent. Iovara nods back, seemingly moved by some unspoken understanding. She looks at the Devil of Karok, whose eyes gleam coldly in the pale glow.
What if your body is destined to outlive your purpose?
And keep me caged up? Like you? I ain't gonna let my soul go to rot in this thing.
You may have little choice in the matter, but as to your purpose, that choice is yours.
She locks eyes with Mainha.
What if no god had the authority to relieve our burdens or absolve our sins?
No, then I guess we'd have to seek those things from people.
She crosses her arms, angling her head.
And that's the hard part, isn't it? It's easy to close your eyes and pray to a god. Harder to open them and look into the face of someone you've hurt. Or someone who's hurt you. I spent a long time looking for a miraculous solution. But you can't undo the past any more than you can unspill a glass of wine. All you can do is move forward and try for better.
Many are the names of those who have died in despair, waiting for the help of the gods.
You feel the weight of Iovara's translucent eyes upon your soul. What if we can be assured of nothing? Then the only value is in the things that we create ourselves, and we had best build our own strength so that we can bear it. Then only when we cease to exist as beings can peace be found. Then there is the questions that have already posed more values. What? Then it is the questions that have already posed more value than their answers. Okay, that's a little abstract. Then the fewer people who realize it, the better. Then all we can do is endure. I don't know. And the only value is in the things we create ourselves.
And in the lives we create, is this not the essence of motherhood? To create, cherish, nurture, to give of yourself for the sake of another.
There is bliss to be found in the things we create, but sorrow as well. Every creation bears the imperfections of its creator, and its creator's creator. Art and song are creations, but so are weapons and lies. We must be careful that our creations do not consume us.
I always found it with this game, it wants you to make big choices, but I never felt I knew enough about what was going on. Yeah, that's the thing, Retro Ted. And so, like, that last selection of choices, there were 6 good choices and 1 I don't know. But even the I don't know bears merit. And, you know, it's like in this whole thing about creation, it's like, you know, straight away, the Grieving Mother goes to, it's in the lives we create. Is that not the essence of motherhood? To create, cherish, and nurture, to give ourselves for another cause. And then Iovara's twists it for sort of like the creation of weapons and lies. And it's like, is that what I meant by that? Or is that what the game wanted to me to mean by that? And, you know, it was one of 7 fairly valid answers. You know, it's like, if there is nothing to believe in, then just questioning things on their own holds more value than the answers, because that is the nature of life, to question everything unendingly, to try and gain answers which just lead to more questions. You know, there's nothing wrong with any of them. But because of that, it doesn't feel like any of the choices that you make actually have an impact or bearing. You know, out of all of them choices, there was nothing which, you know, there was a one where it's like, what was it? What if we can be assured of nothing? There was one which basically said, you know, the fewer people who know about it, the better. That's a rather narcissistic way of looking at things, but it's not necessarily evil or discouraging. You know, it's like, to a certain extent, you know, this is one of the, you know, without getting too much into theology and religion in the real world here, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's one of them things that I personally sort of like try to hold myself to, is like, I appreciate that there is a lot of negativity around different religions and people who are deeply and venomously, I've forgotten the word, agnostic? No. Atheist are some of the worst people that I know, because it's like, there is no God. There are no gods. Your religion is wrong. Your religion is stupid. Your religion is false. That is besides the point, in my humble opinion, a little bit. You know, there are religious extremists in all religions. Those are people that I don't really agree with. One of the things that I have seen in a lot of people, and this is particularly true of my grandmother, when she was alive, she's passed now. You know, she was one of the few people that I know of who was a devout Christian, who went to church every Sunday and chose to believe in Christianity. The thing is, she was never pressing about it. She was never, oh, you should come to church, you should believe in God, or the rest of it. she just accepted that, her own daughter converted to Muslim. My father is atheist through and through. I'm probably more agnostic than anything. At the end of the day, religion isn't something that is terrible. It can be made to be terrible with a lot of the extremists. But for a number of people in the modern day, it can give that sense of community, that sense of not having to question things. It's that belief of, so like, this is the right path to go down, so you don't have to reflect on yourself excessively. If you want guidance on a moral question, then you can turn to your religion and have that answer given, provided for you. And yes, okay, if you go down the religious extremist and the purists, where it's like it starts to become problematic when it comes to homosexual relationships. I didn't want to go this deep into it, but we're going there. Might actually see out to the end of the stream. We don't. I don't know. But it's like with Catholic Christianity, they are very much dead set against homosexual relationships and homosexual people. This is the opinions of a church, and this is the opinions of a church the last I checked. I don't keep abreast of these things. And so when there is somebody who is homosexual, then they don't fit into this sort of like perception of what is right. It's how they behave on that I think is the difference. One of the things about my mother's side of the family is, again, the grandparents were fairly religious. They weren't devout, but they were fairly religious. But at the same token, they didn't have that much of a... they didn't have an issue when one of my cousins came out as a homosexual. They didn't have an issue with you doing something against their religion. They felt that it was wrong for you to be doing, but at the same token, they wouldn't, be sort of like trying to drag you in front of a priest for confession or anything like that, or trying to excessively change your mind. It's like, they'd be more sort of like, have you considered all the repercussions of your actions? And if you turn around and say, yeah, I appreciate that, not everybody's going to agree with me, but this is something that I feel strongly about, and they will be so like, fair enough. It's your business, you do whatever the hell you want. I have no problems with beliefs in religion, I just don't think they should be... Yeah, that's the thing, it's like, I don't, anything where it's like extremist, and when I say extremist, I mean people who think that theirs is the one and only true religion, and everybody who doesn't think that way should be put to death or otherwise. That's where I draw the line with religion. And the thing is, it's one of them where it's like this game is one of them where it's like, I have proof, or I have evidence that the gods don't exist. Yet apparently she also doesn't have proof that the gods don't exist. You've just got to have faith in the fact that the gods don't exist, yet the gods have had a very real and tangible effect in this world. Which makes me actually question not do the gods exist or not. It's all like, what term the gods do they want to have. Because that's another thing. It's like, one of the questions, or one of the things that I've seen fly around a little bit is like, what is your belief? It doesn't have to be religious or spiritual in nature. It's like, what is the one core facet of everything that you believe in? And that is how a lot of people are. And it's not that big of a shift to adhere it to one religion or another. On face value, for a lot of religions, let's take Christianity, because it's one that I know kind of off the top of my head. Is, you've got the 10 Commandments, which is, you shouldn't kill people, love thy neighbor, you shouldn't covet your neighbor's goods, so be jealous or try and steal them. And I forget the rest of the 10 Commandments, but no one of them commandments actually says you should not be homosexual. You should stay in a heterosexual relationship. None of them say that whatsoever. Where this interpretation that Catholicism has gotten from the Bible, I don't know exactly. But it's one of them things where it's like, I feel that the message has been lost somewhere along the way in terms of this. It's like, if you go back to the basics of the 10 Commandments and, just aspects of it, there's nothing wrong with Christianity, and therefore putting your belief, in my humble opinion, in a god according to Christianity doesn't actually infer any problems. And if that's what you choose to believe in, and let's say this god is real and he can influence your lives or influence certain events, so I've come back from lurking so there's nothing wrong with Christianity, but I mean, we're talking theology here. I picked out Christianity because it's one that I kind of know off the top of my head. J Station. This is great. Hey, Ghost of Sunny. How long have you been here? I don't know where you're coming from. A new stream structure. It's just... So getting back to the game, it's something like, I see something like the commandment, the equivalent of today's laws, the way that they get groups of people to live together. Yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, that was... this is a hell of a diversion away from it. It's actually one of the things that So, okay. There's been a bit of a reveal in the game, and one of the things is, it's like your character is questioned about the reveal, and it is deep, and it is fundamental, and it is potentially mind-blowing, depending on your opinions. But you don't really feel like you know what the hell is going on deep enough, and it's centered around religion. And it's one of them where it's like, literally sat by Jay and joined the Christianity with Chiron. God damn it. Doobity, what's it? Where was I going with this? I've lost my train of thought again. So yeah, it's one of them where it's like, it was speaking on religion. Did I open this kind of one? You could... You've opened up this train of thought. The game has opened up this train of thought more than anything else. It's like, it's these big choices and it's these big decisions, but at the same token, no, Retro Ted isn't to blame here. If anybody's blaming him, he's prompted to make me think about this a little bit deeper, and I've gone a lot deeper. I could have not. I kind of preface with this as like, I don't really want to go too deeply into this, but at the same token, you know, it's like, get me ranting about opinions and I'll rant for hours. Looking forward to hearing Karen's 10 Commandments. The thing is that there's nothing wrong, in my humble opinion, with the Christianity's 10 Commandments. And, you know, they're very vague. They're very succinct. You know, Retro Ted mentions that today's laws are literally just the same, and to a certain degree, you know, that's pretty much par for course, though, because, you know, most of our you have one keyboard, and that is the only keyboard. You're allowed more than one keyboard. It's just I have one keyboard that is still working after all of these years. Why the fuck would I waste money on buying another keyboard? When the conversation turns like this, that would be a... When the conversation turns like this, I would say that would be a... I'm going to need a dictionary definition and a pronunciation guide for that word, matter, and then and stay quiet. The thing is, I don't mind having conversations about religion, belief, and the rest of it, as long as people stay civil about it. If somebody was coming in here and starting chanting off, you know, so like, you know, Christianity is the only true religion, or any religion is the only true religion, and you're all going to hell about it, and then I'd just start banning people out of my chat. It's like, we're having a theological debate. We're not having a debate about particular religions per se. The only things that we're against is extremists, including atheist extremists. I really can't stand those people either. I think Twitch is the perfect vehicle for religious beliefs. I mean, it really isn't. It is one of them where it's like, I'm starting to remember that this is going to get saved on the internet forever. If anybody finds this, then this has a very large chance of being a problematic stream that I might end up having to re-download off YouTube, trim, and put back up, and, you know, just like technical difficulties a bit in the middle. Because, you know, it's one of them. I don't mind theological debate. I don't mind discussing religions. So I shouldn't be clipping this. You can clip it. I mean, to a certain degree, if it gives me traffic, then I'm not going to complain as long as people abide by the rules of the channel. You know, by all means, they can come in and they can disagree with me as long as they keep it civil. We should get a soapbox emote. What does a soapbox even look like? But yeah, anyway, yeah, the game asks some very deep and meaningful questions. It feels like it's handing you a loaded gun, without enough information on, you know, what to pull the trigger on, and if you think about it too deeply, which I have done, it can start spiraling off into a theological conundrum in reality, never mind in the game. I think I've said most of what I was going to say. I don't know. You didn't provide me with a pronunciation guide, Retro Ted, but a matter for higher church is what that would be, a matter. Yeah, I mean, it's one of them where it's like, in my lifetime, or in anybody's lifetime, we're probably not going to get definitive answers. Ecumenical. This would be an ecumenical matter. There we go. I can read. Probably Latin. Alright, anyway, so let's go back to the game. We've only got another 15 minutes. I don't think, I'm going to be really pissed off if it's all like, I start this stream up next time and it's all like, half an hour left of the game. Then, it's all like I've wasted all this time speaking theology with you all, but hey ho. I do feel this game is challenging beliefs, but as I step on my soapbox to say something, I realize I don't know all the facts and information. So I put it back again. Yeah, it kind of gives that vibe off a little bit, where it's like you're not given all the answers. You're expected to make decisions on all of these things without knowing where it's going to go, which potentially gives you some degrees of replayability and or learning the pronunciation of the word is literally a string straight out of Father Ted. In which case, that's where I'm guessing that's where Retro Ted got the word from. But anyway,
I ask these things not to trouble you, but to show why they must be confronted.
Oh, I'm troubled.
No answer is simple, but somewhere between them all lies a truth so beautiful, not even a god could conceive it. Do we not owe ourselves a chance to find our part in it?
We do, even without assurances there is still truth. No, people need to know things that people need to know that things happen for a reason. A fabricated reason is better than none at all. I don't think it makes much difference anyway. No answer is simple, but somewhere between them all lies a truth so beautiful that not even a god could conceive it. Do we not owe it to ourselves a chance to find our part in it? I don't think it makes much difference anyway.
I often wonder that myself. If things had gone differently, if the world had taken my faith instead of the Entwithen's faith, would it truly be what I had envisioned? I've been alone here with my thoughts for so long now. I've found peace with my failures and with my punishment. I no longer curse fate for what might have been. But there is one thing that has clawed and scraped at my mind all these years. One thing that will not be put to rest until I know. Until I understand.
For the first time, hints of doubt trace her serene visage.
I need to know why you chose to remain with the Inquisition, even after you'd learned the truth. Do you remember?
Nope. Your teachings were a threat to all that I believed in. I resented you. I wanted to please the gods. Your capture brought me glory. I was afraid of what Theos might do to me if I didn't agree. I don't think I had a reason for it. I just did. Sorry, there's no reason. See, this is another one of them where it's like, this is potentially a very deep and meaningful question. And you're basically being asked about the choices that somebody else did in their life and what you're going, and what they were thinking at the time. And it's like, I've no idea. Sorry, there are no reassurances. Go away. Neovara looks at your face with, at you with the face of one condemned. Her mouth moves, but she speaks no words. Her eyes glaze and focus no longer on you, but some invisible, crushing vision before her. Did my opinion matter so much to you?
Of all that I loved you for, it was your righteousness most of all. You had heard both sides, seen everything. If not you, then who?
I've not heard both sides. Well, I kind of have now, but you're never going to be able to convince everyone of anything, true or not. There will always be dissidents. I see your point. Your optimism has always been in place. That's why you're here now. See, this is one of the things that I dislike about CRPGs. It's all like, none of these are the answers that I would give. You know, it's like you're asking me what I thought that I would do in a past life for a soul that I don't really recall. Like I said at the top of the conversation, it all kind of fades in and out and is all a mess in there, and you give me 3 options? All of which I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Am I trying to appease her? Am I trying to convince her that I don't fucking know? No, you just need 3 options in any situation. Roll the d3. I mean, J-Station, I'm not going to roll the d3. I am going to think about this. This is a role-playing game after all. But at the same token, I'm so like, Ghost of Sunny, there is 3 options in most cases. It's all like, yes, no, maybe. That is the 3 that you need. It's just like, you have heard both sides, seen everything. If not you, then who? I'm just going to see. I see your point. I don't know what that means. Kind of. And I'm just going to go for it, because the first one is basically saying, I'm always going to be a problem. And the other one is sort of like, that was your own stupid mistake. I see your point.
I'm aware of the folly of trying to learn so much from so little. I've had time to consider that in all its facets. But in the end, it was all I had. You denied me a chance to know your reasons. And even if you hadn't, some part of me would always know it didn't truly answer what I wished to know, nor will an eternity of silent contemplation. I will have only my guesses and suspicions, and that will have to do.
And that's all I've got as well, love, so get over yourself.
And what of your understanding of our past? Are you at ease with the choice you made?
It wasn't me who made that choice. I bear no responsibility for it.
At first I thought this might be the source of your soul's anguish. But now I see I was mistaken. You are not divided on this matter. You have put it behind you. It is with Theos that your agony lies, in sun and shadow. Your questions are not for me, but for him. And it may be that only an answer from the mouth of Theos himself will satisfy your needs.
Actually, I'm pretty much just here for revenge and I'm here to save the world and to kill him. That's all I'm here to do. I don't want answers.
Yet if there is anything I can tell you that would be of use, ask and you shall know.
I wish when I forgot things I could say, I have put it behind me. You should just start doing that. Ghost of Sunny. It's like, why didn't you call me on Sunday when you said that you would? It's like, alas, I have put that all behind me now. And that's it. That is it. You don't offer any other explanation other than that. You forget something in work. Alas, I have put that all behind me now. And just walk away from the conversation. Alright, I'm gonna go through this dialogue. I am kind of curious as to what she's got to say. Let's see if it sparks up any other conversational tidbits. But we are probably going to end the stream here and pick the rest of this game up on, I think it's MechWarrior 5 this Thursday over in MyCat's stream, so it'll be next Tuesday. Are you bound here until the end of time?
In a matter of speaking, this is Braeth Yamen, the court of the penitents. Souls are confined here until they repent. They must beg the forgiveness of a god, pledge their soul to them, and they will be lifted from this place to the world above. In truth, they receive leniency, but not true mercy. The spite of Woodica is eternal. They linger above, at the site of the old court, and are not permitted to leave the island, forever severed from the cycle. This prison was full once in the days of the Inquisition. But time weathers all things, even will. I'm the only tenant who remains.
Oh, Gestation, you're gonna have to check the VOD for how
As it was in the beginning,
fucked up this is.
you have brought many of them here. Cry out for the judgment of Theos. You have struck some bargain with the gods, then.
Did you put that fire out? No, I put it behind me. I mean, yeah. If you're going to leave a situation, just pour some gasoline on it, light a fire, and walk away. Own it like a boss. Please don't go starting fires. Any of you, this is a terrible advice stream. Any advice that I give is entirely satire and should not be fucking listened to under any circumstances. You know, if anybody asks me what's wrong with my computer, I say, have you tried hitting it with a hammer? At least then you know what the problem is. Some pillock hit it with a hammer. That is how terrible my advice is. So yeah, but if you want, set fire to things that you are going to put behind you and just walk away like it's no longer your problem, because it really isn't your problem any longer. I don't know how to fight fires. I do technically know how to fight fires. I totally misunderstood when they asked, you know, it's like, oh, do we want any fire marshals? It's like, oh, I like fire, I'll marshal it. And it's like, no, it's all about putting out fires. Sorry, I couldn't hear you over the fire engines. Oh, what the hell? This prison was once full in the days of but time weathers all things, even will. I am the only tenant who remains. Okay. Yet I feel their presence strongly now, as it was in the beginning. You have brought many of them here. They cry out in judgment for Theos. You have struck some bargain with the gods, then. See, again, it's all like, yes, because that was literally the only way to get down here safely. I'm using the gods to further my own ends.
They aid you because they would bend you to their own purposes. Engwith built gods from ideals, and an ideal on its own is a grotesque and vicious thing. But these souls, these forgiven, the gods have bequeathed you like chattel. They were loyal followers in life. They will be with you to the very end.
Why don't you repent? You could be free of this place.
Last time someone asked me that, I was bound to an iron wheel with a broken spine. There are many things I've come to doubt about the choices I made in life. But that trial was my one moment of certainty, even without a chorus of gods to tell me I had been right.
I'm trying to pay too much attention. What did you say? Last time someone, there are many things I could have come to doubt about my choice in life, but that trial was one moment of certainty, even without a chorus of gods to tell me I had been right.
The gods need to be reminded that we have a spirit, and that spirit is proof against their power. They have the power to manipulate and confuse and ruin us, but not to change our will. I will remain here until the world crumbles and fades from existence, with joy in my heart, knowing I've shown them what they truly are.
Fight fire with fireball, the third option. Ghost of Sunny is embracing the flame. Imagine you just stand down while walking, and then someone started sprouting off all of this stuff. Who are you calling cattle of? I was just out for a latte. This place, Sun and Shadow, what is it? I could tell you what I believe, but again, it would be no proof. I have only what I have seen, and what others have told me about it. There is only one man who can tell you now, who knows it to a certainty, and you shall face him soon enough. I will leave you to see it for yourself, make your own judgments. Better for your soul that way, I think. How is it you speak Adrian? I speak no language now, but the wordless expression of the spirit. It is through my connection to you that I am able to draw upon your words and form them as my own. Do you know what it is I need from Theos?
I could not say for sure. But you have been to Sun and Shadow before, and it came at a crossroads in your life, when much of what you knew had been upended. I have to believe it will come to you there. Your concerns then were of loyalty and trust and the gods. Everything I told you seemed to send you further into doubt. His words mattered to you when you knew him then. After you and I spoke, you went immediately to seek him out. Perhaps you simply sought confirmation from the man you trusted. If something from that time still troubles you, it may be something he told you then, or refused to tell you. He keeps secrets better than any in this world.
I think my old me was a dupe and a sucker. Why has Theos done all of this? I love how I'm guessing that's option 5. Chiron is desperate to finish this, and let's keep distracting him. I mean, I'm not finishing it this session, and next session most of you are just banned from watching. I joke. I don't mind the discussion. In fact, it's one of them where it's like I don't mind playing the game if there's a discussion about it. It's just for most of this game, it's been like, what the fuck is going on? Up until this one point where it's like I'm literally asking, what the fuck is going on? And it's like, oh, you should know. You're the one who started all of this. And it's like, no, that was the other me. Why has Theos done all of this?
He cares only for the secret he keeps locked away. He destroys anyone who might discover it, no matter their chances. That's why he's always favored Woodica. It isn't in her love of promises or justice. It's her disregard for the rules. Her willingness to do what is necessary. To Theos, she's not a deity, but an ally with which to conspire. When her power waxes, she does as she pleases with this realm, as well as hers. And she wants that secret guarded as much as he.
And what is that secret?
If Theos succeeds, there will be a shift in the balance of power among the gods. Woodica was vanquished once, when the other gods decided she had gone too far, and her power diminished. With this infusion, there is no telling what she will do. The only certainty is that there will be chaos in their realm, as well as ours.
How can I get Theos to tell me what I need to know?
You will not find a more resolute being on all of Eora. There is no offer you could make, nor spell you could cast, nor pain you could inflict that would make him reveal what he hides. But I see you have become a watcher in this life. Perhaps in defeat, when he can no longer defend himself, you might learn something from him.
Alright, it is time for me to go.
Theos will not wait for you.
Oh my god, there's more
If
choices.
you do not catch up to him now, you may never find him again.
So why have you delayed me so long? The gods have given me the souls of the forgiven. If you repent, you could join with them. Help me strike a final blow against Theos. Your defiance here is an illusion. You are a slave to the gods, bound by their rules, stuck in their system. Your continued existence is proof that the gods' dominion over us, all of us. If you hadn't planted doubt in my mind long ago, I'd be living a normal life right now. Before I go, I will repay you this curse. Then I will waste no more time. Farewell, Leovara. I'm gonna go with the first. The gods have given me the souls of their forgiven. If you repent, you could join with me and help me strike the final blow against Theos.
If I repent, all I have done has meant nothing.
Then I waste no more time with you. Goodbye!
Great. You came and found me here. No matter the circumstances. You're not exactly who you once were, I have to remind myself. But seeing you one last time, and remembering what we shared, brief as it was better than anything I dared hope for in this place.
I mean, if you cared to share what we once knew, that would be great.
If ever we should meet again, in this life or any other, I hope to find you at peace.
I love the way it's all. I'm glad you sought me out in this place. The two paths were either this way or this way. There was no other path. I had to meet you. Alright, and with that, I am wasting no more of your time. I've just saved it as new. Screw it, I need to save it as a proper name because I will forget that I forgot to name it. End of session 28. Save. What for messed in chat? Any guesses on what his secret is? I have no. It's one of them where it's like I don't know. I really don't. Cake and unlimited pass. I mean, both of them would be great. Great plan. You can't get the answer with pain, so go beat him up anyway. No, I'm going to get the answer with death and then reading his soul, I believe. I feel like she deserves to have the curse repaid just for her vague ramblings. You and me both. It's one of them where it's like, I probably, I think one of the things about this game is I don't really feel that it's got that much replayability and flexibility in how you choose to play the game. In the town that you go into, there's 3 factions that you could join to make progress in this game. You were all here for that, or hopefully you were. But now that I've sided with a faction, I saw that through to the end. That got me a meeting with a guy who instantly got himself killed before resolving anything. Again, Theos came in and fucked that up. Nothing you'll do will get the answer you seek, so try turning him off and on again. Anyway, I have been streaming a little bit over, mainly because of the theological rant in the middle, and also because that woman wouldn't shut up with her vague ramblings. It's like, all right, I will waste no more time. Goodbye. Wait a minute, there's more. Turn your Theos off and call 0800 repair a god. Theos isn't a god. Neither are the gods, but hey ho, let's not get into that again. Thank you to Retro Ted for joining me this evening. I will be back on the internet on Thursday. It may be more Pillars of Eternity. It may be MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. I can't remember what week it is. Nope, still can't remember. Wait. No, I think I streamed Ruined King last Thursday. So that will mean this Thursday is a MechWarrior 5 stream over on MechCat_UK's channel. I'm going to drop a link to that in the chat. Yep, MechCat confirming that it is MechWarrior 5 this week. So yeah, go check out MechCat's stream and give them a follow. I will be over there this Thursday. Start slightly earlier than my usual time. I do believe it's about 7 o'clock. And then on Friday I will be back playing Bioshock. Probably going to be the last session of that by current estimates, I believe. JStation and MikeCat usually join me in the chat for that one. So let's drop out a shout out for JStation. JStation also streams on Thursdays and on Saturdays. MikeCat streams Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays, I believe. But that's up and down and all variable. Retro Ted also streams, so let's not leave them out of the shoutouts. Let's have one of those going dropped into the chat. Ghost of Sunny, thank you for joining me. Ghost of Sunny doesn't stream, but you can usually find them in most of our chats. And failing all of that, if you want to know when and where we're all going live at the different times that we go live, feel free. Oh, J-Station actually beat me to that one. Feel free to join us on the Discord, which was set up by me, J-Station64, RetroTed, and Krifu Banal, for discussions about all things geekery and potentially theological. As well as some cooking and, you know, just, it's one of them where we chat about whatever the hell we feel like, really, much like this stream. I should have been loading things up to see if there is anybody that I am going to raid this evening that isn't usually on the Tuesdays. There used to be people that I knew who streamed at this time, but so many of them have stopped streaming. Or I've decided to stream at other times that I don't know what's going on anymore. Doobity what's it? Come on, load up, load up, load up, load up, load up. It's not loading up yet. So slow. Ooh, there is a number of people that is streaming that I know. We are going to go with Shanghai, who is streaming Death's Door. I don't know what the evil J Station. Right, no, wrong command. Raid Shanghai. I think that's how we spell their name. Come on. I do wish that it was easier to copy from the internet these names. There we come on, there we go. Copy and paste it. There we go. Alright, so yeah, please join me for the raid and give us a shout out when we get there. If not, I hope you have a good time wherever you happen to be in the world. And until next time, daddy bye. Well, Shanghai's closed it off for being unable to raid them unless you're part of their network, and I don't think I am. So we're going to try somebody else. They're playing, Doobly What's It? Dead by Daylight. And that one worked. Yay! Alright, see you all next time.